Okay, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. This is our culture team. So we're composed of a few different members. I'm actually just a member. So in a second, I will turn it over to Mr. Geiger, who will be leading this. I did put together some questions. Then, like I said, we've got some unique perspectives here. We have classroom teacher, administrators. We have special ed representation, interventionist representation, as well as Mr. Geiger over all culture. So we have a lot of good representation here for this. The start is actually going to be looking at our Cycle 7 data. I did not print it off because it is very, very blank. Basically, the Cycle 7 is a report of behavior that we documented last year, and it shows that we had, I believe it was 2 suspensions, a parent conference, and it was based on 2 terroristic threats and 2 fights. So that was all that our data entailed. So I'm curious today to talk about if there's anything we need to do differently in reporting our behavioral data, and then we'll end with talking about some of the interventions we're going to have in place. But at this point, I'll turn it over to Mr. Geiger.
All right, so we've got a brief review of our Cycle 7 data. First off, I feel that our data tracking needs to be improved. We introduced educated handbook, and then when we got it finally up and running, I don't know if the kids' behavior has drastically improved, or we just not putting the incidents into the system. Because as of right now, we only have 2 major referrals in the computer. And I know I've gotten more phone calls and incidents than 2 that's in the system. So what are some of you guys' thoughts on how we can improve our reporting system?
Let me ask a question. So, with the educator's handbook, do they record, like, is this a spot where they record, like, if they're having multiple instances with the student's behavior, whether they get you involved or not, do they still put that in there?
Yes, sir. They put the first, they get the first-hand account. But if I were to put it, I'm only putting in the information from my account, which is on the back end. So whatever transpired on the front end, if I wasn't present, I'm not going to put that information in.
Okay.
And I guess mine was more of a question because I'm still unclear of what to put in there. And I've had each week something different, but I was told, oh, that's going to the state. Don't worry about that. Just squash that. You know, you handled it or whatever. And so I don't know what to put in or when to put in whatever happens.
Okay. So, and then the easiest way to resolve that is the incidents in the educator's handbook, the only ones that we report to the state are the major incidents. And when you go in, they'll be identified as perfect. Everything that's under the orange category, we don't have to report that to the state. And really and truly, unless the state requests incidents from educators saying, but we don't have to report that. The only thing we have to report is e-school. Now the major incidents have to be entered in both educators handbook and e-school. But now they don't. What I always encourage the teachers to do is to I'll put everything in as a minor incident, and then I can go in if it's something serious and upgrade it to a major incident. But usually that'll be something that we do in school suspension or out of school suspension, some kind of creative. Any suggestions on how we get the teachers on board and making sure that they're putting information in?
Have we had a PD on what to put in there?
I don't know if everybody was present.
Because I know I wasn't. So that may be a good idea that we do a revisit and then just reinform or solve that okay, these are the things that
So how about we plan a revisit in grade level meetings? That way it's not like an overwhelming PD for everybody, and we actually do a sample. Like we do a maybe each grade level meeting has a different incident happen, and this is I'm caught in the skit idea of maybe each grade level meeting has something happen. Each member of the grade level meeting plays a different role, and now we go through, and in your role, how would you enter this in educator handbook? How would you decide who enters it? So, maybe we do a fight. Like a fight happens, but there's 3 teachers involved. Who puts it in educator's handbook? So we could do some scenarios or something like that in the next grade level meeting.
The current reality of discipline in the building. Speak freely, open and honest.
I can only speak from my classroom. I don't know if they think I'm new. I don't know what rules are in place, but I have a zero tolerance for eating in class, and there's always some of that going on. The phones, out of sight, out of sound. I don't know why they think that I'm new and don't know, but I catch it, and then I have, well, I'm not gonna give you that, or I'll just take it to the office myself, that type of thing. So, and I guess my thing is, I don't think there are, and I'm not gonna say harsh enough punishment, but it's almost like it's just okay, you're not supposed to do that, and nothing else is done, type thing. Because just like yesterday, a student was walking in the hall with a handful of hot fries or Takis or something coming out of the class, and I'm thinking, oh no. So I don't know I know what the expectations should be. I know what my expectations are. I'll just put it like that.
So I wanna, before I speak, let anybody else want to add to something else.
What we done had?
No, I'm talking about the reality of discipline in the building.
Collectively, administrators and teachers and interventionists are not all on the same page as to what behaviors should be squashed as soon as we see them, and then how we squash them and what the follow-up is. As an interventionist and as substitute last year, I knew what the handbook said. I made it a point to go through it before I started substitute full time, and I tried to follow that to the letter, but I found that some teachers did not.
So it made it hard for, and it's just like, it's making it hard because nobody's on the same page. You might have 2 people on the same page that's following the handbook, but when you got another person saying, well, you could do this, you could do that, then there comes
It's
the,
conflict.
yeah, so, until we get on one accord, the discipline's gonna keep happening.
What I'm hearing is clear, consistent behavior expectations and clear and consistent consequences for those concrete solutions.
I'm in agreement with just being consistent, firm, and fair.
So how do we get everybody there?
The handbook says no hoodies. The handbook says no hats, no cell phone, no food. It has to be consistent. If the adults is not, they're going to do it. So then that's where the backlash comes. That's where the relationship between the staff is not a relationship because we're not on one accord.
So basically, what it's going to come down to, and you tell me if this is along the right track, Mr. Jacker. So basically, we need to go back to the handbook as a starting place, because you're right. Everything that y'all just mentioned is listed in there, and I think I purposely tried to make it short, like 14, 15 pages. So we might need to go back and revisit that, everybody, and make it very, very clear. These are the non-negotiables. These are the things that must be followed in terms of behavior. Because like you said, a lot of these conflicting things shouldn't be conflicts. Like if it says no hoodies, then it's just no hoodies, period. But if I know I'm okay in your room without it, I mean, we've run into this issue for forever. If you don't say anything, but then you say something, now it's created an adult conflict, and we can't afford that. Okay. That's good feedback. I'll be quiet now. Thank y'all.
And then too, in terms of the solution, I will get Mr. McGrew and Cosia years ago did a specific template of procedures and transitions and cell phone policy based off of the handbook, but it was broken down for the kids to be able to understand. And if there was a sub on campus, it was broken down for them to understand. So I'll get that out and then bring it to our next meeting or either send it out to y'all in the email so y'all can have it to look over and be able to discuss it and see what changes we might need to make. The next two items on here are based off of the data. So we got to get the reporting and our incidents in line and educators handbook so we can have some accurate data for the next meeting. Let's see if we can. So this is not going to take long to walk them through how to put incidents in. What positive behavior and intervention supports do we currently have?
Well, as far as support, I love the idea of, although I'm not used to having a cell phone while I'm teaching, but I love the group me where I can put something in there and within a few minutes I have what I need. I love that. So that support is dynamic. As a matter of fact, even after I put what I did yesterday, I still, throughout the day and even this morning, was asking to get rectified, was it taken care of? So I love that part. You know, everybody is aware of what's going on, even if they don't know the details. So that is a plus.
And this is, I guess, Mr. Davis would be good for this because I believe he's over celebrations too.
Yeah, so Mr. Davis and Miss Turner. So Mr. Davis and Miss Turner are on the positive student incentive celebrations. Miss Jordan is over the staff celebrations and incentives, which that's a little bit different. I would add though, morning meetings a really, really big one to this. Like a really big one. Like when morning meetings are happening consistently, I mean, y'all have seen it, they start really building connections, especially with your homeroom. But we've also seen the opposite effect when morning meetings aren't in place. What can happen?
So what is a good avenue to, other than PD, to get that message across to everybody, the powerful impact of morning meetings? How do we?
For me,
solve that?
because I've never done it and just getting me motivated is to have a list of things that I can do. All that I've learned from the meetings that I've been in, but you know, the kids get tired of that after a while, you know, and I have gone online and found things, but still that I need a list, like 1,001 ways to have morning meeting or activities or something, because that helps me a whole lot.
And I get it because I'm to the point to where it's like, how do I keep it fresh?
Yes,
It's the same still
Yes.
active, how do I keep it fresh?
especially with the 8th grade homeroom I have.
Right.
What you got, Mr. Jordan?
It was the discussion earlier in the summer that was a possibility that all of us would get involved.
Yep.
And that is response to intervention has a book with nothing but morning meetings.
Activities.
And there is a book called
It's around here somewhere.
There's a book called The Morning Meeting Book. I think Mr. Sullivan has it, but what I will do is I will send an order to Miss Turner to see if we can just buy 15 because it would be really nice if everyone had their own, because it's a massive book, and that's exactly what it is. It's greeting. It gives you just 100 different greetings, 100 different activities, 100 different shares. And it's cool because some of them are really intense. Like some of them are, you've been doing this for a while, you really know each other now, like the one we did with the, I can't remember what it was called, where we shared the negative story and we had to turn it around. So there's a bunch of that stuff in there.
I used the one that you did this past week with the number, and it took us. Miss Calhoun came and got us. We still hadn't finished, but they enjoyed it.
And then, two, that's really powerful, and I don't know if you're there yet. Kids can help you design your own.
Yes. Yep. It really is.
Another positive behavior support that I want to get back to is a student of the week and recognizing our students of the week. I would love to do like a movie poster thing where you highlight the kid throughout the building for each grade level.
We did that at the previous school I was at, and we put it in where they would all see it. We put it in the cafeteria.
So there's cycle 7 data report and behavior. It needs to be updated. Inner is a minor, and then if it gets to be more than Mr. Geiger or will enter as a major to go to the state. You're going to revisit the PD for education handbook during each grade level. And then we talked about the current reality of discipline in the building. So staff needs to be on the same page. Then we talked about the Scholar of the Week poster and the NPR for every grade level, every grade. Ms. Turner's church is going to come in every third Thursday of each month. We talked about houses. Then we talked about the reflection sheets that need to be made and handed out today. I talked about the take a break areas for 3 to 5 minutes, and he's gonna go in every class to see about that. And that was it.
All right, so next.
Good evening. Today I'm going to be talking to you about the Cycle 7 data report for Pine Bluff Lighthouse Elementary and Middle School Academy for 2020-2021. So the cultural team for Pine Bluff met and discussed the data that was reported in the Cycle 7 report, as well as the current reality. So this is just some of the data that was taken for the 2020-2021 school year. There were 4 behavioral incidents in total, 2 fighting and 2 terroristic threats. The 2 terroristic threats were made by Black males, and the two fighting incidents were Black females. The time frame of this information: one of these incidents happened in December 2020, and 3 of the incidents happened in April 2021. So there's not a whole lot of data, only a few incidents. So when we start thinking about, this is what we discussed in our meeting, the current reality of student discipline based on the Cycle 7 report, the first thing we noticed is that we've already had major incidents this year, and we know we had major incidents last year based on observation, teacher interviews, as well as teachers' discussion throughout the collaborative process in the culture meeting. So one of our concerns is everything being reported? Is Cycle 7 showing what needs to be shown? And why do we have more incidents that are not showing up in our data? So when we think about our perceived reality versus what the data is actually showing us, what we're seeing through observations, what we're seeing through daily interactions, as well as reporting to classrooms by administrators, that there are multiple daily incidents, that we've already had a couple of fights, And then we start talking about why. What is the reason? Where is this coming from? And we notice that expectations are different. So we start talking about, including last year, behavioral expectations were not clear for everybody, including the reporting of data. So we look at our data, and our data are saying that we had 4 incidents last year total. And we know that wasn't the case just through talking with individuals, what we've seen. So the first thing we need to address is collecting data. Are we collecting the appropriate information and sending it to our culture coordinator? We utilize the educator handbook. It became apparent through a discussion and meeting with teachers that the educator handbook has not been properly rolled out to everybody. We held a whole group PD on it, but there needs to be follow-up with training, make sure teachers have access to it and know how to use it. We also are implementing positive behavior intervention and support. So based on our discussions, we understand that not all the staff are on the same page with the behavioral expectations. The handbook has to be reviewed. We are continuing to use restorative practices to address issues as they come up so that suspensions will be reduced. But our data, our cycle 7 report showed that in our incidents, we had 2 fighting, 2 terroristic threats, and they were handled with 2 out of school suspensions, 1 in-school suspension, and 1 parent conference. So that was also reported in our cycle 7 data, that's how it was handled. So we can still submit to the cycle 7 report and show our data without all of it being suspensions. We can handle it with parent conferences and restorative practice. Morning meetings are being emphasized to build those relationships, our community building through houses, our scholar recognition, our weekly recognition of students in every grade level, our handbook, and we are keeping up to date with our parent communication log, making sure we track all of our parent communication. Finally, when we think about our response to intervention for the behavior, we have a few different things in place. We have the CPS protocol, the collaborative problem solving protocol. We have our school-based intervention team, which takes referrals for academic and behavior. We have take a break area. We have reflection sheets for grades K through 8, and we utilize our GroupMe as a communication system for whenever help is needed. So these are some of the things we're going to use to respond to behavior as it comes up. In conclusion from our culture meeting, and what I want to share here is that we are going to create an action plan, and this is the action plan that was put in place that they're going to utilize. First, the training by the culture coordinator to ensure everyone understands the educator handbook and how to enter data. If we want to see where we are with behavior and if our interventions and positive behavior interventions are working, we need to collect consistent data. We need to monitor it, look for trends, as well as make sure the culture team is reviewing it at least on a bi-weekly basis. Finally, the principal will conduct training on the handbook. The handbook was created specifically for the reason to make sure we are on the same page with our behavior expectations. Because if one classroom is doing something different than the other classroom, that is going to cause issues. Again, the culture team will meet bi-weekly to review this data and to see if these are the proper steps. Thank you.